Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're making a recipe for fruit salsa. Now, I've never had this before, but I was looking for a fruit salad recipe a couple weeks ago and I came across this and I thought it sounded really good, so we're going to give it a try today. It's going to be the first time for both of us. So there's actually two parts. We're going to make the fruit salsa and refrigerate that, and then we're going to make some cinnamon chips to go with it. I think it's going to be great. Okay, here are the ingredients. We have some raspberries, we have strawberries, we have chopped apple, white sugar, brown sugar, and orange marmalade. So, the very first step, you're going to need a blender or food processor, and your adult assistant will need to help you with this part. So, what we're going to do, I've already chopped up my apple, and I'm using a green apple. You can use whatever kind you want. Just drop it in the top. And then we're going to chop this up really fine, and then put it in a separate bowl, and then mix up our other ingredients. Now, you could use blueberries or grapes or kiwis, whatever you like. These are just the fruits that I had on hand that I thought would be really good. So, we're going to go ahead and mix this up. Great. Okay, now if you like your salsa chunky, you could make your apples a little more chunky. I tend to like salsa pretty fine, so I am going to make this. One piece in there. I'm going to make this pretty fine. So you just take your apples and put those into a, whoops, making a mess here. Put those into a separate bowl. We'll just take that little problem out. Okay, so we dump our apples in the bowl, and once those are in there, we're going to go ahead and put this back on the blender, and we're going to add our strawberries and our raspberries. So, go ahead and put them in the top. Now this part is something that you could do. You could put everything inside. You'd need your adult assistant to probably actually blend it. But you can certainly fill this up. Okay. Smells nice and fruity. We're going to go ahead and put that apple back in there too. It didn't get all the way chopped up. Okay, and now we'll fire it up. Okay, so we're going to take this out. It smells great. I know some of you aren't wild about strawberries and some of you are, so for those of you who really like strawberries, you could add a few more strawberries, and those of you who don't, just add a few, and you can maybe add blueberries or some other fruit in its place. Okay. So we got that in there. Boy, that looks delicious. Stir that around just a little bit. Wow. Okay, so now we're going to add our sugars and our marmalade. So the first thing we're going to do is 1 tablespoon of orange marmalade. Marmalade is kind of like jelly, but it's a little thicker. So here's our orange marmalade that we're adding in there. And then we have to add, let's see, half tablespoon, and because that's dirty, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 teaspoons. That's the equivalent. So dump that in of our white sugar. And then our brown sugar is also 2 teaspoons. Or half tablespoon, but I'm using teaspoons. I'll put all the exact measurements on the website so nobody gets mixed up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just stir this together until it's nice and blended. And I know you can't smell it, but it smells delicious. And doesn't that look great? I'm really excited to have this. I hope our taste tester likes it. Okay, so now the only thing left to do is to put this in the refrigerator for about an hour, between 45 minutes and an hour, just so it gets a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the fridge, and then we're going to come back in just a minute. I'm going to clean up the apples that I spilled on the floor, because remember, cleanup is a really important part of cooking. So I'm going to clean the apples up. They're right there on the floor, and then we're going to come back and make our cinnamon tortilla chips. Okay, our fruit salsa is chilling nicely, and now it's time to make our next step, which is our cinnamon tortilla chips. It's going to be delicious. So, the first thing we do is we need to make some cinnamon sugar. So, just put some sugar in a bowl, and this is just to your taste, however you like it. I'm going to do 3 teaspoons of sugar, and then I'm going to just sprinkle some cinnamon in. And just stir it up. If you already have cinnamon sugar made up, if you like that on your toast, you can use that too. Okay, so then what we're going to do, I've got some butter that I've already melted. You can use margarine too if you would like. And what I'm going to do is just add my cinnamon sugar to my melted butter. And I'm going to stir it around. And what we're going to do is paint this onto our tortilla shell. Go ahead and add the rest of it. Now, as you can see here, I've already cooked some tortilla shells. And again, you have to remember that I buy the kind that's just the dough. So if you have the kind that's just the flour tortillas already cooked, then you don't have to do that step. You can just take them out of the package and then put them on your pan. Ooh, this looks good. Okay. So, now what we're going to do is take some kitchen scissors or a knife, and we're going to just cut our tortilla shells into chip-sized pieces. You can make them as large or as small as you would like. And then we're going to just arrange them on our baking tray. You know, these aren't even baked, and I can smell the cinnamon is so delicious smelling. Okay, so we're almost done here. So once we've got them cut, we're going to just spread them out, and then if you have, it's called a pastry brush or a basting brush. People call them both of those names. You're going to take that brush, and this is mine, and you're going to dip it into your cinnamon sugar buttery mixture. And you're going to just coat your tortilla shells. You don't have to be neat. You can just kind of glop it on there. It's going to bake up, and it'll be crispy and really good. And this is what we're going to use to dip out our fruit salsa. With regular tomato salsa, you just use regular tortilla chips. So we're going to use some delicious cinnamon tortilla chips that we made in our very own kitchen. Okay, so that looks good. So we're going to pop these in the oven, and our oven is preheated to 350. And we're going to bake these for about 9 minutes. We're going to check them at 9 minutes, and if they're not as crispy as we would like them, we're going to put them in for just a few more minutes, and then we'll just watch them, and once they're as crispy as we want them to be, we'll take them out. Okay, our cinnamon chips are done, and I have to tell you, my kitchen smells amazing. I'm so excited to try these. Okay, so we're going to let those cool for just a minute, and I've taken our fruit salsa out of the fridge, and it looks great. I love the green apple. I'm glad I did that. It gives it a nice color. Okay, so you could just serve that in if you have a chip and dip bowl, you could do that. That would be very nice. But today, earlier, I cut up a watermelon, and so I decided to save the bottom part of my watermelon, and all I did was cut the bottom part off. There was a stem, so it sits flat, and you can see I've scooped out the insides, and that's waiting to be eaten another time. So what I'm going to do is take our fruit salsa and I'm going to just scoop it into the watermelon. This is a really fun and creative way you can serve this at a picnic or just at lunch. So, ooh, this looks really good. Okay, so here is our serving bowl. So what I'm going to do is just take some of our chips, and you could stick them around here, or if you're using a bigger plate, you could lay them around the bottom. What I'm going to do is just, I'm going to use a spatula because those are kind of hot. I'm going to just scoop these into a bowl, and then I'm going to set the bowl right next to our watermelon serving bowl. And they're going to be ready for taste testing. Okay, well, I'm going to finish this up and go locate our taste tester and ask him if he would like to try fruit salsa.